Dade Phelan refuses to turn over a proper accounting of how much money they spent of yours. Now, earlier this month, Dan Patrick released a statement about all of this secrecy, about Dade Phelan's secrecy. And he said, Dade Phelan has refused to comply with the audit for almost a year now. This was a couple months ago. And apparently, he doesn't believe he needs to tell taxpayers how much he spent on the impeachment. I'm not aware of any legislator refusing to tell taxpayers how they spent taxpayer money. What is Dade Phelan afraid to show the public? Millions upon millions of your money spent on high-priced private lawyers who lost the case in addition to his costly state expenses. This guy is the guy who's in charge of the Texas House. Don't let that be, Dan Patrick is talking about the guy in charge. He is in charge of the Texas House. The Speaker of the House is withholding receipts showing how they spent your money. When would that ever be acceptable? There is no case in which that should ever be acceptable, especially here in the state of Texas.
That is pretty annoying.
In fact, as I talk about, would you be able to get away with that? Would I be able to get away with that? If a state auditor came to me and said, you must produce these documents, withholding access to documents requested by the state auditor is a crime. It's punishable by up to a year in jail. So why is that not where Dade Phelan is right now? It's where you would be. It's where I would be if I refused to hand over documents. Throw him in jail. Why not? You think this is a game? You want to throw my money around playing political games and not think that you're accountable to explain to me how you're spending it? What a coward. What an elitist coward. Dade Phelan, you are a coward, okay? Because of what you did was so noble. And you were just following the facts of this investigation. You just wanted to get to the bottom of the truth. You just wanted to pursue justice for Texans. You're just doing it all for Texans, right? If that were really the case and that was how you felt, you should be proud of the money spent. You should be glad to give all of the documents, provide all of the receipts showing the money that was spent on these endeavors. You should shout it from the rooftops if this was all done by you as an honest broker.
That's not going to happen.
And it speaks volumes, Dade, that's not what you have done, you coward. This is not a small amount of money that we're talking about. I mentioned the $435,000 by the Texas Senate. That is a drop in the bucket compared to what we have learned at least through open records requests. That's the only way that anyone has been able to get any amount of money. And it is not exhaustive. It's the minimum, okay? Open records requests have revealed a cost of at least $4.3 million of yours and mine in the impeachment, including money given to a public relations firm before and after the trial. Again, Dade, if what you're doing is so noble, why would you need a PR firm to help you with optics before and after the trial? It should speak for itself. The evidence should be so overwhelming and in your face that it should have spoken for itself. You shouldn't use our money to hire a PR firm to convince us that what you were doing was right and noble.
I can't believe that I'm hearing this.
That's disgusting. So remember, these famed attorneys that I mentioned earlier, Dick DeGuerin, Rusty Harden, to lead this prosecution, $500 an hour. $500 an hour for this impeachment sham. Do you guys, if you've ever dealt with attorneys, you know the insane amount of time that something like this would be required for these attorneys, the preparation that they would have to engage in. That's a lot of freaking billable hours, okay? So we know that it was at least $4.3 million. That's the bare minimum. I'm sure they're hiding a lot more. Otherwise, Dade would just provide the receipts and be done with it. Look, here's your $4.3 million, that's it, okay? But I want you to remember for a second the reason why this all came to be, okay? It was a settlement that prompted this entire ordeal. It was a settlement that the Office of the Attorney General wanted to agree to in this whole, we talk about all the whistleblower case. Well, this was a wrongful termination lawsuit that these particular, they're referred to as whistleblowers. I don't think they blew the whistle on anything. It doesn't sound to me like from the trial they know much of anything that they're talking about, but they call them whistleblowers, okay? So these whistleblowers enacted a wrongful termination lawsuit on the Office of the Attorney General. The Office of the Attorney General wanted to settle the suit, presumably because it would cost Texans more money to go through an entire trial, okay? And it was a $3.3 million settlement. I'm not a mathematician, okay? But a $3.3 million settlement versus over now, if you add the Texas House cost and the Texas Senate cost, $5 million? 3.3 versus 5. And it was the $3.3 million settlement that prompted this entire ordeal, because all the impeachment bros were like, we just can't spend that money without investigating the matter because we care. We really care about how taxpayer funds are utilized. We're just here for you guys. We're just in it for the little guy. You guys can't speak for yourselves in this. We are your mouthpiece and we care about your funds. We have to investigate. We have no choice. It's our duty to investigate these allegations. Our duty to you, Texas taxpayer. Oh, really? Then tell me why you had absolutely no problem spending way more millions of our dollars than you would have to just settle the suit, which was, of course, the Attorney General office's point the entire time. Let's just settle it for the smallest amount of money possible, and we don't waste Texans' taxpayer money on this stupid thing. So you tell me, did they really care about spending $3 million of your money when they turned around and happily wasted upwards of, I believe, $5 million when all is said and done? And since Dade's, again, stonewalling the transparency, we know it's more than that. We just want to be good stewards of Texans' money. That's a lie. And if Dade doesn't want to play by the rules and he wants to hide your and my money in secrecy, he should face the same consequences that a normal person would face should they obstruct an investigation.
Why don't I start? Huh? The simplest way to put it? I have problems.
So, no, I can't move on from this, because there hasn't even been a proper accounting of this. They are still playing games, manipulating the system, abusing their power. They are still doing it to this very day on this incident. I would love to move on. We can't until we know how much money and until Dade Phelan is held accountable for stonewalling and obstructing and not being transparent with our money. He doesn't deserve to be the next Speaker of the House. He wants to be the next Speaker of the House again. He does not deserve to be the next Speaker of the House. He deserves to be in jail.